that research has shown that integrating ChatGPT in online classes within peer groups can significantly enhance student satisfaction, content delivery, and increase engagement. Hi, my name is Mark Billington. I'm the director of the Create team. In this three-part design session, you will learn key course design strategies and how to leverage artificial intelligence, or AI, to improve your design while spending less time doing so. Think of a course that you would like to create or improve. Pause the video if you need a minute to think of one, then hit play when you're ready. Get used to pausing the video. We'll be using that technique several times throughout this session. Great, now that you have a course in mind, what will you teach? One of the best ways to begin is to start at the end. Backward design is a key strategy in course design, in almost any project you plan for that matter. If you were to bump into a current student 5 years from now, what 5 concepts would you want them to remember from your course? Those 5 items will likely become your course outcomes. The big question is, how can AI help with the course design process? AI can help you define and refine your course outcomes and many other aspects of your course. Think of a recent conversation with a work partner. Did it flow like a Google question? You ask one question, get one answer, and it's over? I hope it was more conversational, with a continuous back and forth sharing of ideas. In these sessions, AI, specifically ChatGPT environment, is more like a conversation with a work partner. ChatGPT question writing or prompt engineering should be like a conversation with a friend. The goal is not to get a single answer, but to converse back and forth and get a better, maybe even the best answer. Imagine talking to another faculty member who's an expert in course design. What would you ask? How do you expect they would respond? For this session, we will use the browser version of ChatGPT. Go to chatgpt.com on your device, pause the video anytime you need a few extra minutes, and oh, by the way, you won't need to set up an account for now. You should now see "What can I help you with" screen. Simply click on the Message ChatGPT area and type your first prompt. A prompt is very conversational and doesn't have a specific format. Remember, you're talking with a friend or an assistant. The first thing I need for my course is a set of outcomes. So, the prompt I'm going to use is create 5 course outcomes for a nursing course. It's your turn. For the first session, follow the prompts I'm sharing. Pause the video, type your prompt, and press return. Restart the video when you're ready. That was a very generic prompt, and GPT provided a good, but rather generic response. If I were to ask a team member to create the outcomes with very little background information, that's the response I'd probably get in return. One way to improve the response is to improve the request. That's called iterative approach to prompt engineering. Each prompt is just a little bit better than the prior prompt. Let's improve this prompt. Create 5 course outcomes based on the 11th edition of the Fundamentals of Nursing textbook by Potter, Perry, Stockert, and Hall. It's your turn. Pause the video, give it a shot, and restart when you're ready. There, that's getting closer. Take a few minutes to look through the information that GPT provided. What might be your next request? Unlike Google, GPT can, and usually does, remember your conversation. Now you can ask it to please edit these to reflect the AACN and Next Generation NCLEX guidelines. For you non-nursing listeners, that's the American Association of Critical Care Nurses and the National Council of Licensure Examination. They're the board examiners for our nurses. Your turn, you know the drill. One more iteration of the prompt and we should have a solid set of outcomes to start with. Let's play the role of an expert instructional designer and edit these outcomes. You know what's next. It's your turn to pause and repeat. GPT added Bloom's verbiage to the outcomes and provided a list of edits and also the reasons for the edits. Take a few minutes to look through the information that GPT provided. Don't forget the human role in all of this. If this were a conversation with a teammate, would you blindly accept what they said? Probably not. You'd add your own thoughts and ideas throughout the conversation. The same applies here. As I said, GPT helped us get started. What changes do you want to make? At this point, you should have a very well-defined set of outcomes. Use the associated discussion board in Brightspace to share them with your peers. Consider their suggestions, make edits, and then share your outcomes with your dean and the Create team. Now that we have our outcomes defined, you can begin branching out in the design of the course. The next prompt is, what else should I be thinking of? ChatGPT responded with the following. Here are a few key considerations beyond just the learning outcomes that we should consider next. Our next session will cover the first item, alignment, and the second item, assessment. They are the next components on our backward design strategy as well. See you soon. Hi, my name is Mark Billington. I'm the director of the Create team. Are you struggling to create assessment questions based on the 15 new question types required on the next generation NCLEX? Did you know that ChatGPT can write many of those new style questions, including those nasty clinical judgment case studies? In addition to assisting you, AI has been found to improve student exam performance, providing qualitative changes in the impact on student engagement, preparedness, satisfaction, and exam performance. In today's session, we'll use ChatGPT to generate a course assessment plan and 5 questions based on the new NCLEX style questions, which are well aligned to the outcomes you created in session 1 of this series. It's critical that your assessment strategies and your assessments themselves are aligned to your outcomes. Alignment is part of the backward design strategy. Backward design involves starting with a goal and working backward from there. Not knowing any better, many people use frontward design. They start with chapter 1 in the textbook and blindly follow it through the chapters without regard to their goals or outcomes. I think of frontward design a bit like packing for a trip before deciding where you're going. Take a few seconds to think about your outcomes and the concepts you want your students to remember 5 years from now. Your assessment questions should relate to or align with those outcomes. If they don't align, you will hear feedback from your students about challenges with the test, the questions they did not expect or they weren't prepared for. It's important to remember that assessments or exams are learning tools as well as measurement tools. There are assessment questions I still remember from 30 years ago. Exams are powerful teaching tools. There are 2 forms of assessments, formative and summative. Formative assessments are continuous ongoing evaluations that are usually done during class time. They can include 1-minute papers, think, pair, share, low-stakes quizzes, or concept maps. Summative assessments, on the other hand, typically take the form of traditional exams. An assessment strategy is simply a plan of how you will evaluate students throughout the course using both formative and summative assessments. ChatGPT can help with your assessment plan or strategy and your actual assessment questions. You can continue the same conversation with ChatGPT, your new work partner. In the same chat as your outcome discussion, use the prompt, "Help me design an assessment strategy for these outcomes." Your turn. Pause the video, use the iterative and conversational method to try a few of your own prompts to develop an assessment strategy that better fits your course. The response from ChatGPT provides a significant amount of detail about the assessment strategy. It's nice to start with a plan, but it likely won't be perfect for your class. What I like about the structure is that each segment contains a why and a how statement. It provides many ideas of various assessment strategies and why and when they might be used. This is a powerful start to building your own strategy. Let's move on to the actual assessment questions. The prompt I'll use is, can you provide 5 sample questions based on the next generation NCLEX case-based questions? Your turn. Pause the video and write this or another related prompt. My following conversational prompt is, the students are also taking anatomy at the same time. They'll be studying the cardiac system in that class during this unit in my course. Can you adjust these questions to focus on the cardiac system? Notice how detailed and conversational a prompt can be. Prompts can be much longer and even more detailed. Your turn. Pause the video and try a few related prompts on your own. The last part of creating a graded activity is sharing the expectations with the students. A rubric can often help students understand the expectations and grading that will be part of the assessment. GPT will help with that aspect of the course design as well. Continuing your conversation in ChatGPT, you can use the following prompt to work on your own rubrics. Please create a set of rubrics for these questions. Pause the video and begin working on your own rubrics. Practice iterations or conversational approaches to improve your prompts and the resulting rubrics. Take a few minutes to look through the information that GPT provided. If you've finished with your rubric and you have a paid version of ChatGPT, you can actually have GPT create a Microsoft Word file of your rubrics with this prompt. Can you create an MS Word downloadable document of the rubrics? If you don't have the paid version, you can always copy and paste the content into almost any application you choose. Use the associated discussion board in Brightspace to share your strategy and assessment questions with your peers. Consider their suggestions, make your edits, and share them with your Dean and Create team. You're on your way to creating your first AI-assisted course design. You've created an assessment strategy and sample questions that are aligned to your outcomes. You're quickly becoming an AI expert and a model of powerful and effective course creation. The key concept for this session is that GPT remembers the earlier parts of a conversation, creating questions based on the outcomes defined earlier in the discussion. This results in a continuation of the backward design process we discussed. You defined the outcomes and built the assessment based on them. Our next session will complete the backward design of the course skeleton by ensuring the alignment between objectives, assessments, and class activities. It will also demonstrate ChatGPT's creative capabilities in engaging classroom activities. Finally, it will explore the activities for online asynchronous options as well. See you in the next session. Hi, my name is Mark Billington. I'm the director of the Create team here at Nebraska Methodist College. This is part 3 of our series on using ChatGPT to create or enhance your courses. How do your courses begin? Do students walk in, drop their book bags, sit in the same seat, and wait for you to begin the lecture? If so, your students are playing the game of education. If that's how your classes start, you've already lost the game. They're good at it. They've been playing the game for 12 years or more. They sit and you work. How can you break the pattern? How do you engage your students? Former MIT physics instructor Walter Lewin had standing room only crowds in his 250-seat physics auditorium. Yes, standing room only at an MIT physics class. He started every class in a new and engaging way, such as a fire extinguisher powered bike, and usually ended class with a book signing. You should check out a few of his courses on YouTube. That sounds like a lot of work, and it probably was, but you have access to a powerful, creative, and time-saving tool that Walter didn't have, ChatGPT. Dr. Christina Serrano stated when sharing AI integration strategies with educators, the impact and the outcome really is just amazing. Educators felt very empowered by their ability to create their own tools. Let's try creating some of our own tools. GPT will remember everything we discussed about our course. Let's begin with the prompt, I want to explore active learning activities that align with the assessment strategy and outcomes. Can you provide me with 5 ideas? Try that prompt on your own. Take a look at the results. GPT had some great active learning strategies, complete with how-tos. The ideas are great starting points for integrating them into your classes and adding your own twist to the mix. Let's try the pre-made Jeopardy template. If you have the paid version of GPT, you can also try create a Jeopardy PowerPoint file, then provide it in a downloadable format. GPT will actually create a PowerPoint-based Jeopardy game. GPT can help with many more student engagement ideas. Do you need a never-ending supply of random case studies? Try this prompt. Create a medical case study for a random patient suffering from a random medical condition. Do not provide a diagnosis. Periodically pause the case to ask how to proceed, provide options, and wait for my response. That's a good base prompt that can be modified to fit almost any situation. It can also be shared with students to help them generate practice situations. As you can see, ChatGPT is a powerful partner in generating engaging class activities and designing your entire course. In recommending each of these activities, ChatGPT aligned the activities with the assessment and outcomes that were part of the discussion. In other words, the activities prepare students for the exams, and the exams lead students to achieve the outcomes. You've created a path that will lead your students to remember the 5 concepts that you defined at the beginning of the session. I hope this combined session on AI and course design strategies has been helpful. Use the associated discussion board in Brightspace to share your new active learning strategies with your peers. Explore their suggestions, make edits, and share your completed course skeleton with your dean and the Create team. Now that you have a robust understanding of course design strategies and AI prompt engineering, you can use these skills to create your courses effectively and efficiently. Your course will be well organized, and you'll have spent less time designing it.